Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
In April 1959, Art Wall won the Masters, edging out Carey Middlecoff and Arnold Palmer by finishing birdie, 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 par birdie. 1 month later, Ocean City Golf Club celebrated the opening of their first 18 holes. That course has been transformed now into one of the most scenic golf layouts on the East Coast. Come experience 36 of the most beautiful and challenging holes you'll find anywhere. Ocean City Golf Club in Ocean City, Maryland.
Back in. It is the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap show right here on Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach, from the Blue Ox Bar and Grill, 127th Street and Coastal Highway in the beautiful Ravens Room with Ravens News 44. Give yourselves a hand. 44! Bearing the elements, the cold, the wet, the rain, even a little of the white stuff today coming down as we get through all that.
It's football season,
the
right?
Yeah, well, that is true. It is, although 60-degree temps forecasted for Saturday and Sunday. So you could be watching this enjoying 65-degree temps after 36-degree temps tonight. Anyway, hey, we told you we make it more than worth your while to come down to the show every Wednesday at 7 o'clock because not only do we give away an authentic Nike jersey each week, but also we give you a chance to win Ravens tickets. And Betty Nichols, Betty, step on up here. Betty Nichols, the winner. She's going to see the Ravens play the Raiders. And you know the great thing? Betty, this is your first game, right?
My first game ever.
Her first game at a Ravens stadium, at M&T Bank Stadium. Betty, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming down to the show.
And Betty, did you know you're going to sing the national anthem? You got to sing it.
Let's hope not.
Don't forget the words. Just don't forget the words.
Thank you so very much.
You are very welcome. And see, it pays to come on down to the show, guys. Hey, we've got a lot to talk about.
Hey, we have to say, JC Tickets gave her those tickets. One of the sponsors of the show, John Corsi. If you need Ravens tickets, John's a great guy to know, and he's one of the sponsors as we talked about of the show. And she's got great seats, section 117, lower level. Betty, you're going to love it. Have fun.
And if you want to play golf, go to OC Golf. There you go. I'm going to plug them all, right? And listen to Great Scott Broadcasting.
When's Buddy coming back?
Believe me, just so everyone knows, Ocean City had some trouble. They lost 75 trees and they got flooded out in the storm.
But we played there Monday.
I know.
It's fine.
I know. So I saw Buddy today. They're cutting these trees down, but he's going to be back on the show. We got a date for him, right?
Excellent.
Coming back. Eileen's got a date. All right, let's move on.
All right, guys. Real quick before we get into the upcoming game against the Raiders, I wanted to recap the AFC North real quickly. The Ravens, with their win over the Browns, improving to 6-2 this season. They are 3-0 in the division. Again, a win in the division, it's like you're winning 2 games. Pittsburgh, they eke out a win over the Giants. They get 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns on the road after having to fly in. Granted, it was only a 35-minute trip, but they lost power at their hotel in Jersey City, and there were no other hotels to go to, so they had to fly in the day of the game. They sat around in a conference room at a hotel. They got a big win against the Giants, 24-20 on the road. So they're 5-3, just a game back. Cincinnati. Boy, I mean, their season is just absolutely collapsing. They're 3-5, but they've got a big uphill battle to face. They had a lead, but hey, when you're playing Peyton Manning, good luck. Denver getting the best of Cincinnati. Of course, we beat Cleveland, so they dropped to 2-7. So the Ravens, again, 6-2, 3-0 in the division. All right, we've got the Raiders coming into M&T Bank Stadium. Guys, some unbelievable numbers, and I won't go through too many of these, but some unbelievable numbers. First, in the month of November, since John Harbaugh took over in 2008, the Ravens are 14-5. We talked about they get off to great starts, 6-2 for the 3rd time since 2010, 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. Also, their their home record, 2nd best in the NFL since 2000, 77-23, just right below the New England Patriots. And since John Harbaugh has been the coach, they're 31-5. That is #1 in the NFL. The Oakland Raiders, come into play at M&T Bank Stadium, and this is a team that has struggled this year. And let me run down the list of teams that they've played. They're just coming off a 42-32 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But to start this season, they lost to San Diego 22-14. At Miami, they lose 35-13. They beat Pittsburgh, though, 34-31. Bobby, you pointed that out. They lose to Denver and Peyton Manning 37-6. On the road at Atlanta, who arguably the best team in football right now, or one of the best teams along with, say, San Francisco and Houston. 23-20, they lose that game. They beat Jacksonville in OT 26-23. They beat Kansas City by 10, a team that we struggled with, barely beat them by 3 on the road. They win 26-16, and then they lose to Tampa Bay 42-32. Guys, they come in defensively 21st across the board. Offensively, they're terrible running the football. They're 31st. But Carson Palmer this year is having a pretty good year. They're 7th in the pass. Carson Palmer completing 61% of his passes, 13 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Nothing flashy, but he's been fairly successful. But again, a team that comes in that's 3-5. Your thoughts on the Raiders, Bob?
Well, as we know, Carson Palmer has always played well against the Ravens when he was with Cincinnati. He's not going to be intimidated coming to M&T Bank Stadium. He knows what to expect. The Raiders do have some weapons, but I just think it's a tough spot for this team. They've got a new head coach. They got a new general manager. A lot of new pieces out there. They're a team that's trying to find their identity. I really like the Ravens in this game, but you know what? It's not a layup. I don't like we talked about.
No
earlier.
game is in the NFL.
No game is. Yeah. But I do like. I always like the Ravens at home, and this week you just hope the Ravens aren't looking ahead to Pittsburgh.
That's a good point.
This is a trap. This, to me, has trap written all over it because I think they are looking at Pittsburgh. I think they're overlooking, they're 7.5 point favorites. Yeah. I think they're overlooking that. Oakland is a good team. They're the Oakland Raiders. I mean, they have a lot of pride with that organization. I think it may be a trap. I hope that we come firing on all cylinders. I hope we got our game plan. The one thing we do have, I really like John Harbaugh. I'm not sold on Cam Cameron yet. I think he has a little room to improve his offensive schemes. But I think that, with Ray Lewis on the side, I think they've got a built-in coach on defense that's going to fire these guys up and tell them, don't overlook the Oakland Raiders. Don't look towards Pittsburgh before we win this game. So
this is not a good matchup for us. If you look last week, there were openings there. We were just lucky their quarterback was not able to exploit them. Carson Palmer is going to be able to find the guys if they're open. It's funny to say, but you almost hope that they would run the ball against us. We're not looking for a bit of run, but you never know who their back is going to be because McFadden is hurt. So we're sort of hoping that they run. But if we can make them one-dimensional, that will help us. But they're a very good passing team, so this is going to be a tough game.
One of the things we have not brought up really all year, the Ravens are 31st in the league with penalties. And we had 7 for 89, I believe, against Cleveland. Now, one of the staples of the Raiders over the years, which has hurt them, has been penalties. Dennis Allen, the former defensive coordinator last year with Denver, is now their head coach. And they have really cut into that this year. Penalties, the Raiders are 12th. Believe me, folks, that's a huge improvement from where they've been over the last 5, 8, really 10 years. But that's an area to look at. We can't shoot ourselves in the we certainly can't shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties in this game and help those guys out. But as you talked about, Bobby, Carson Palmer, he's been here. He knows the Ravens. He knows their defense. That playbook hasn't changed. They run a West Coast offense. Nothing flashy on offense, but even then, Darren McFadden is a guy that, they're last in the league, but Darren McFadden can get hot.
Well, they don't even know if he's going to play this week, obviously, with the ankle situation.
True.
He may not play, so that's even going to put more pressure on Carson Palmer, who threw it 61 times last week. But the one thing I do like the Ravens in this game, they read the papers, they watch TV, they hear people in the NFL talking about them. They hear them talking about Joe Flacco. Terrell Suggs was on with Skip Bayless today, and they had a battle. They're talking about how the Ravens are going to go lose the next 7 games. So they have a lot of pride, and we always hear about it. The name on our defense, they're not playing up to the Ravens standard on either side of the ball right now. They're not happy with the way they're playing. So they're coming out this week. I don't think they're going to overlook the Oakland Raiders because they have something to prove, particularly in front of their home crowd. They want to come out and put a good performance. If they do that, it's going to give them some momentum, some additional confidence going into next week into Pittsburgh.
It certainly would help. I mean, Papa, we got off to a good start in Cleveland on the road. That's a great thing to do. Look, if you can get to Oakland early, don't keep them around at home, that's huge. But you keep them hanging around, guys are, maybe looking at Pittsburgh. That's going to be an issue. You never want to keep a team in the game. And, hey, you get down to it, who knows? I mean, yeah, we've been great at home, and I think we've won 14 straight or something like that. But, hey, at some point you're due for a loss.
I tell you, I went to that Dallas game, and when Dallas started coming back, our fans got quiet. And all of a sudden, it takes the fans right out of the game, and boom, Dallas is right there. And you're almost thinking to yourself, oh no, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The Ravens are going to lose. They got to stay positive the whole time. We got to keep the fans, because when you're in that stadium and things are going good, how loud is it? I mean, it's one of the loudest. That's one thing Steven said was that a lot of people don't appreciate in other stadiums how loud M&T Bank can get. I mean, so we got to keep the fans in the game. Got to stay on top of Oakland. Put them away early. Let them go home. Let's get this one in the game.
Well, to your point, and then, Steve, I'm going to get to you in a second. It's funny, current ESPN analyst, former Patriots linebacker Teddy Bruschi, when the Ravens send out press releases and such, and their packet of information for the game, they have a quote here on the quote page. It was 5 years ago in 2007. I can remember everything. It made that much of an impression, talking about M&T Bank Stadium and the fans. Sometimes when you play in certain venues, you feel the audience, the electricity they have, the energy they're giving the team. You feel that in Baltimore. It's like the fans and the defense are in perfect sync together. We've had a pretty good relationship over the years, to say the least. Steve, though, we talk about not getting Ray Rice the ball enough, and last week we did. We ran him 25 times. Let's not forget last week, and I'm trying to remember the Tampa Bay running back's name. Their rookie running back ran for,
251 yards.
251 yards against this Oakland defense.
That's why
we should be able to run the ball.
It's definitely going to be a good matchup for us in that perspective. The other thing, too, is just traveling across country. I mean, for those young kids, a lot of them have never been on an airplane before. They're only in their 20s. It's like going on a field trip for them. They get up in the morning. They're
going to go to the aquarium in the science center.
Exactly. they get up in the morning. It's like 10 o'clock. No, it's 7. They don't know how to figure out the time, and they come on the field. By the time I wake up, it's like the third quarter. So we get on it. We hit them hard.
It's funny you mentioned that, Steve. But you would think there is, because you would think that would be automatic. But this year in the Ryder Cup, we saw it firsthand. Yeah. Rory McIlroy almost missed his tee time because he didn't get the time change.
That's true.
I mean, you would think it would be a no-brainer. Somebody would tell somebody. But every time you travel, and it is a big deal coming from the West Coast to the East Coast. Obviously, they're going to be playing football at basically 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's a little different, and that's always an edge for any team for the Ravens, for any team that's coming east.
45 seconds. Let's get your final predictions.
I will say Ravens 31, Raiders 14.
Nice.
24-17, but I want to take a second and congratulate Rick Meehan, Mary Knight, Doug Simac, Joe Matresic, and who am I missing, Eileen? Dennis Dare! Congratulations, I-Caps on it.
Well, no, golf and politics there a little bit.
But he's right.
Real quick,
and, I'll say this. I like the Ravens this week. I think they win big. I'm going with Steve. I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 35-7 Ravens.
All right. I like the Ravens 28-13. That's going to do it for another Ravens Wrap show. We're back next week. It is Comcast Beach TV and Delmarva's Rock Radio, home of the Ravens, 93.5 The Beach. Go Ravens!
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, Holiday Inn Express, the Ocean City Golf Club, Comfort Inn, Russell Street Report, the original Green Turtle, and hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
Welcome to the Comfort Inn Gold Coast. Conveniently located just 1 block from the beach and adjacent to shopping at the Gold Coast Mall and the movie theater. Newly renovated and open year-round with a marvelous bayfront view. Visit us on the web at comfortgoldcoast.com and see our hot deals and great golf packages, or simply call our direct reservation line to plan your stay.